What do you imagine enlightenment to be? Do you expect it to be a mystical experience? Fireworks going off in your consciousness? Do you imagine it to be an out-of-body experience, perhaps? Something like if you were to take a hallucinogenic drug? In any case, whatever you imagine enlightenment to be, your expectation of what it will be like is very likely to influence your spiritual path and practice. In this video, I want to explore why that is so, and furthermore, I want to investigate the question of whether enlightenment in reality is a mystical experience. Before I delve deeper into this question, I first want to shortly clarify what I even mean by enlightenment. Certainly, the topic of what enlightenment actually is would be big enough to make an entire video out of it. But since I want to talk about our expectations of enlightenment and not so much the details of enlightenment in of itself here, I will keep my definition of enlightenment somewhat brief here. The idea behind enlightenment is that basically ignorance is possible. It is possible for the belief to exist that you are a separate being, and consequently a whole construct of thoughts and feeling is based upon this belief. Enlightenment, therefore, can be described as a sort of destructive process towards that belief. So in this context, what enlightenment means is that your true nature, reality, realizes itself. And as a result, ignorance, in the form of the belief that you are a separate being, is seen to be false. It is important to emphasize at this point that enlightenment doesn't happen to a separate being because the separate being doesn't exist. So whenever we talk about enlightenment, it should be clear that it is always true nature itself which recognizes itself. Unlimited being recognizing that it is truly unlimited. Enlightenment, therefore, can never be personal. It is an impersonal realization, taking place outside of time and space. So having briefly described what I mean by enlightenment, how do our own expectations play a factor in this recognition of our true nature? First off, let me say that it is completely understandable why people would have the belief that enlightenment is some kind of mystical, extraordinary experience. If you read people's accounts of this recognition taking place, very often what is included in that are sort of incredible visions, feelings of boundlessness, an expansive sort of state of mind. And furthermore, the expectation of enlightenment being something mystical is reinforced by the fact that when we encounter the term enlightenment, it very often is in the context of Eastern philosophy or spiritual practice. And that in of itself can already seem quite exotic to us. So especially for Western people, it might be the case that we sort of assume, because Eastern cultures are somewhat exotic, enlightenment, therefore, is something extraordinary and very, very special as well. And of course, I don't disregard the possibility that when reality recognizes itself, when true nature recognizes its own essence, mystical experiences can go along with it. But don't make the mistake of thinking that these mystical experiences are enlightenment in of itself. These mystical experiences, when they do occur, are more so to be seen as a side effect. They might be a side effect of ignorance falling away. If previously you had this very strong belief in being a separate self, and with that came this feeling of being trapped and enclosed within your body, then of course it makes complete sense that subsequently, if your true nature is realized, and this feeling of being trapped goes away, a feeling of being free and boundless might then arise, of being expansive. Maybe strong positive emotions can come forth. But again, these emotions are not enlightenment in of itself. They are simply a byproduct of this recognition. Furthermore, I think that for many people for who the recognition of their true nature causes strong emotions are people who have previously been on a long path of seeking. They might have even tried for years to find out what they really are, to discover their own being in its essence. And when this recognition finally seems to take place for them, a great relief comes with that. Maybe even joy, amazement, a great happiness, because you're finally no longer a seeker. But again, those emotions are not enlightenment in of itself. Just like an athlete would maybe have strong emotions after finally getting the gold medal he has been struggling for his entire life, so too the seeker who has been struggling for years and finally reaches his goal feels strong emotions. But here I want to demystify enlightenment. I want to tell you that it is not mystical. It is not a positive emotion, fireworks in your mind, or incredible visions. When I talk about enlightenment, true nature recognizing itself, it is actually the most ordinary experience you could ever think of. Why is that so? Because your true nature is not something crazy. Your true nature is simply awareness. Your true nature is simply that which knows your experience right now. You have known this awareness your entire life because you are it. This is your true being. It is not some kind of special mystical awareness I'm talking about. It is that which is hearing my words right now. It is completely obvious and simple. This awareness is not in some kind of distant place, high atop some kind of mystical mountain. No, this awareness is simply this, right now. Right now, your awareness, your true nature, is taking the form of this experience you're currently having, sitting or standing wherever you are, watching this video, listening to my voice. It is simply this I'm talking about. And when this awareness, which I also call our true nature, recognizes itself, there is something completely ordinary and obvious about it. There's the recognition that, of course, this is true. Of course, my actual being is this awareness. And you understand that you've somehow known this your entire life. It's just that previously, the fixations within your mind and the subsequent beliefs that were built on top of it somehow seemed to veil your true nature from you. The activity of your body-mind somehow seemed to suggest that you are in fact a separate being, when all along you have only been this. And when this recognition of what you have been all along takes place, who knows what sort of experiences of the body-mind go along with it? Maybe you will feel ecstatic joy. Maybe you will just feel a subtle feeling of peace. Maybe you won't feel anything special at all. But that's not what it's about. Enlightenment is this utter simplicity, this obviousness, recognizing itself. Don't lose sight of this. If mystical experiences come, let them, enjoy them. But understand that what you really are is completely ordinary. And in this ordinariness is absolute perfection. I hope you found this exploration of our expectations about enlightenment interesting. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support me, check out the links in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you here next time.